up, world? Juan Martel here, the CEO of PsychLife. Today, upon your guys' request, I wanted to do a video on the science behind a happy and romantic relationship. So, what we're going to be talking about today isn't just going to be off what my beliefs are. I have many beliefs, just like every other human being. It's about the science, the research behind what constitutes a happy, romantic, and prosperous relationship. And first and foremost, what I'm going to immediately start off with is the positive encounters versus to negative encounters ratio. I'm going to start off with the ratio. Studies have shown that happy relationships, and by happy, let's define that term really fast. By happy, they mean relationships that last. So what they have found is that relationships that last, they tend to have a five positive encounters for every one negative encounter. So one positive encounter for every one negative encounter. That is a happy relationship. Happy. One that's lasted is a better term for it. A negative relationship, though, tends to have one negative encounter for one positive encounter. One positive encounter for one negative encounter. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. This is important to know because think about all the times you have engaged with your loved one or your lover or the person you're in a romantic relationship with. I don't want to get caught up in what the perfect term is because they're just words. But whoever you're with, whoever you're dating, think about the times you engage with them. Is it for how many times do you have a positive encounter for a negative encounter? What they have found is relationships that last, they tend to have 5 positive encounters for every 1 negative encounter. And this is good to know. Now, how can we, as human beings, create positive encounters? And this is a very good question. This is the part where people sometimes need a little bit of guidance through. Very simple. Number 1, give a compliment. Hey, you look beautiful today. Hey, that looks nice on you. Hey, this tasted great. I'm not saying for you to lie. Now, if it didn't taste great, you don't have to say it. But, I mean, come on, guys. Let's be real here. Show your appreciation. Hey, thank you for doing that this morning. Thank you for cooking that. Thank you for making the bed. Hey, thank you for last night. I had a great time when you took me out. Just say thank you. Just be grateful. Show some gratitude. I talk about this in my posts all the time. Relieve a fun memory. Think about a time you had a fun time together and say, hey, you remember 3 weeks ago when we went camping? That was an awesome time, wasn't it? My favorite part about that trip was this, X, Y, and Z. Let's do that again. Or, hey, do you remember that time we took that trip? And the memories don't always have to be so big. Like something as simple as, hey, 2 days ago you remember when we were outside on the balcony just meditating and just relaxing? That felt nice. Just say, aside from just giving a compliment, showing your appreciation, relieve a positive memory, and talk about it. Those are considered positive experiences. The last one is actually do something nice for that person. You know, this is the part. For the other ones to come about, the other 3 I mentioned, you actually have to do something nice to be able to talk about it. So actually doing something nice for that person, just something as simple as bringing them a flower. Or if you know that person has to wake up early, set an alarm if you know they forgot. You know, this type of mentality where it's their responsibility. You're right, it is their responsibility, but that doesn't mean you don't have a role to play in trying to help. I think this is important. So, how to cultivate positive interactions every day. I gave you 4 steps, guys, all right? And I hope you guys follow them. So, in the bedroom now, all right? In the bedroom, we're going to talk about the science behind, remember, we're talking about the science behind positive, healthy, prosperous, romantic relationships. I mean, that is the best way I could come up with it as far as a vocabulary term. For one, they have found that happy couples, once again, happy means longevity, couples that don't get divorced, tend to have sex about 2 to 3 times a week. 2 to 3 times a week. Now, these are obviously, to some of you guys, the number might seem not big enough. I mean, all power to you. Then go right ahead. I mean, I'm gonna keep even saying. Sorry guys, I write so many notes. Another one, more sex is more joy. I mean, people are 55% more likely to report higher levels of happiness. People are 55% more likely to report higher levels of happiness when they are having sex every few days. 55%. That's almost double. Well, it's not really almost double. Think about it as 1.5. So if my satisfaction level is at a certain point, imagine get half of it and add it on. Just every few days, sex. So there's a bunch of biological reasons for this. Obviously, for males, the build up testosterone, activating the nucleus accumbens, which is responsible for the dopamine release, the neurotransmitter of dopamine. All these things. There's a bunch of reasons for it. But also, sex is a form of expression to your partner. And this is important. It's not, you just don't do it to reach the climax. I mean, people who have sex like this, their relationship's not going to last. Obviously, trying new things and, even bringing toys and stuff to the front. I am not a sex therapist. That is not my role. I am a substance use therapist. But I will say that more sex equals more happiness. And I'll say this one thing. Sex just one time a week. Just one time with your partner. That to me is I'm not going to say if it's high or low. One time a week can increase happiness by 44%. So maybe you and your partner are the older side. And sex isn't really up on your pedestal anymore. It's not on your things to do. Well, just one time a week can increase happiness by 44%. So this is something to take into consideration for you and for your partner and for your relationship if you wanted to be happy and prosperous. So yeah. Okay, guys. So here we go. Now to the third topic. How do you respond to triumphs? How do you respond to triumphs? So let's look at this. Do you set by let's say, for example, your partner, they give you good news. How do you respond to it? How do you respond when your partner says, hey, I'm looking forward to participating in this basketball tournament. My game's today. What do you say? Or maybe your partner says, or your romantic lover, or once again, I don't want to get them too caught up in these terms, but your lover, the person you're with, says, wow, I'm looking forward to presenting tonight. Oh, wow, I'm looking forward to going out with my friends and to the movies tonight. What is it that you say? Do you respond in a manner that's not supportive? Or do you say stuff like, or do you show enthusiasm? Do you ask questions back? Oh, hey, oh yeah, what movie are you guys going to see? Do you ask questions? Do you congratulate their excitement? Do you congratulate their successes? These are things. Celebrating triumphs with your partner. So right now, if I had my partner here and she tells me some good news, she tells me, hey, I've been having I'm looking forward to this. Well, I'm not just going to discard it and that's it and go about my business. I mean, that relationship's not going to last. I am going to say, hey, really? Wow, that's great. And start asking questions about it and share her successes are my successes. Her excitement is my excitement. And these are important. Also, relieving past experiences is another good one when it comes to responding to triumphs. Wow, you did good on that project. Remember when we did good on our project? It doesn't have to be exact, everybody. Relationships vary. They're variables. So this is important to take into account. Sharing experiences together. That is another element to a happy, prosperous, and to a romantic relationship. Sharing experiences together. You don't need money to have experiences. That is the biggest lie in society today. That you need money to have experiences. Money can get you experiences, But experiences is processed right here in the brain. Some people could travel all over the world. They won't gain, yeah, they were there, but they didn't have the experiences that one person may have just going to one part of the world, because everything that's processed happens up here. So go for an evening walk. There's an experience right there. You can develop that routine with your lover. Explore a place you've never been. Dine at a place you've never gone. Cook together. Cooking together is another good one, guys. I really recommend it. And going to a concert. That one requires money. I wrote that one. I don't know why, guys. I'm not perfect. But I will say that you can have experiences without money. And couples that use money, lovers that use money to gain experiences, and that's the only way they have experiences, which is the use of financials, those are the couples that are going to have issues in the future. Because I can't guarantee they're going to have issues in the future. But if the money runs out, they're going to have issues. Because they didn't learn how to spend time and enjoy time together. So right now we've gone, I'm sorry, I have my notes here. Right now we've gone through the science of a successful relationship, and I've broken it down into a few parts. How to cultivate positive interactions, how to go about it in the bedroom, how do you respond to triumphs, how do you share experiences together, and I'm going to go one more right now. Excuse me, yeah, one more. How do you engage in disagreements? So, I'm looking at this video right now, and maybe I could create 2 columns, but how do you go about disagreements? Do you focus on the points? Do you show that you're listening? Do you show humor even sometimes in the disagreement? That one's a fuzzy one. I wouldn't use humor if you don't really know how your partner's going to react. But do you show humor? Do you show consideration? Do you focus on the talking points? That's a healthy disagreement, because you can come into an accord or an agreement eventually. But an unhealthy disagreement, do you roll your eyes? Do you start bringing up stuff from the past? Do you criticize? Do you start saying that? Do you start name calling? This is an unhealthy way of engaging in a disagreement. This factor right here that I'm talking about, how you go about engaging in a disagreement when you are in a disagreement with your lover, your partner, the person you're in a romantic relationship with, is so important, because the book Blink, written by Malcolm Gladwell, which I recommend that you guys all read, it's one of the books that started me on this path, shows how couples who engage in this type of manner when it comes to engaging in conversation, bringing up stuff from the past, name calling, criticizing, they don't last. They don't last. So it's something for you to take into consideration when you are triggered because you're not in accordance with what your lover is going about doing, because it's going to affect both of you. This is a good time to sit down and talk about the valid points and use constructive communication styles to be able to communicate your needs. Okay, just a couple some research here I drew upon. All right, couples tend to be happiest once the first 2 years of marriage. During the first 2 years of marriage or living together, that's the way this research. They tend to be the happiest. So remember that don't depend on someone else for your happiness. Yeah, you may have a romantic partner, a lover, once again, what you want to call it, but do not depend on that person for happiness. You're supposed to not even use that person. You're supposed to engage in positive experiences with that person and be happy together. The moment you depend on someone else for your happiness, your own happiness, because of your expectations, is the moment that relationship's going to fail. Because relationships are variables. There's contingencies involved, always. Always. How big are those contingencies? I don't know. Depends from person to person. But just keep that in mind. All right? So, once again, guys, PsychLife here. I appreciate you guys. This content takes time to make, so, Share with your friends. So click the subscribe button if you haven't, and the like button if you haven't. And I really appreciate all of you guys for checking out these videos. And I'm going to keep doing the best I can to check them out. Be safe during the coronavirus, all right? PsychLife here. One more tell here, representing PsychLife. All right, see ya.